Hello, my name is Sarah Warren. I am doing a presentation on student mental health in the classroom. Now, what we're going to go over right now is a few concerns that we found by collecting data about teachers' concerns about their student mental health. First question we have, how can we help our students cope? So again, we're going to go over these a little bit later on and talk about the different ways to help teachers help their students. Next, steps to creating a safe learning environment. And lastly, how to identify mental health issues within our students. All right, so let's go ahead. All right, before we get going about the different steps to helping your students, I want you first, stop. Think about students that you've noticed has been going through some changes, right? Something seems different. And while you're thinking about that student, I want you to think, has their appearance changed? Are they eating alone at lunch? How are their grades? So as a teacher, I know you notice these things about your students. You see them 8 hours a day for 10 months out of the year. You see them way more than their parents. And you notice things. Tell me the truth. I know I can think of a few students I remember exactly when they were sick, how long they were missing, and surprised a few parents during meetings when I called out what different things they're allergic to or who their best friends are. Again, you know your students, so I want you to think about that student right now. Okay, we're going to talk about mental issues. First, what is affecting students nowadays? There are many things going on, but these are the top ones that we've noticed that have been affecting students, and we're talking about why it's affecting them. And again, as we go on, we're going to learn different ways to ease some of the issues that they're going on because of some of these problems. First, the pandemic. The pandemic hurt us all. We understand that it was a experience that none of us expected and still trying to recover from it. Students, especially our younger students, they were either in classes, in grades where they were first learning how to socialize. So now they're in a situation where they're brought back into an area that they're not used to. And a lot of these students, they miss a few years. So not only socially are they not in the same stance that they should have been, but education-wise. Many students either learned online or they were homeschooled. They were not in the situation that they would have been if it wasn't for the pandemic. Next, over testing. Funding comes from testing, it comes from scores, it comes from results, it comes from you as a teacher doing what you're supposed to do to help these students get to where they're supposed to be, and also providing the results that show the schools that you're doing what you're supposed to do. So again, schools are testing students on different things. You have the state testing, you have different standards within your district, you have different exams within each class. Students are dealing with a lot. And they want to be good. They want to impress either you, their parents, family, friends. They want to be good. They have goals. And because all this testing is causing a lot of stress on them. Last but not least, exposure to the internet. We all have students who have those things connected to their hands, their phones, where they could go online, find out different information about famous people, learn different random facts that you and I probably didn't learn until we were adults. They have access to the internet more than anybody. And on top of their phones, they have their computers. Now that the internet is a really big thing and a lot of schools are investing in using computer and using different things online as a resource, which is amazing. But students have access to the internet more now than before. So again, we're going to go through some of the concerns and some questions you have as teachers. First one, how can we help our students cope? The fact that you're asking these questions, the fact that you're wondering shows that you already have a bond with your students. All right, and that's what we want to do. We want to create these bonds with our students so they feel comfortable talking to us. Again, having this bond, you notice when something's not right with your student, when they're going through changes, when you see it and nobody else does. And when this is happening, this is when we want to educate yourself. Make sure you understand the mental health issues that students are going through. Understand different signs that students are experiencing or different ways to catch different things even before the students realize that something's different about them. Steps to creating a safe learning environment. As a teacher, you create this classroom where you either decorate the classroom, you filled it with energy. This is what you do as a teacher. Now we're going to figure out ways that we can continue doing this to help students that are experiencing different mental issues or health issues. Sorry. First, you want to talk openly about anxiety. We all get nervous. Tell your students that. Tell your students different people who have experienced it in different ways that they have overcome their personal anxiety to get to the places that they're at. There are many people out there. Next, focus on the positives. A lot of the issues that the students are experiencing comes from negative things going on. It's really important that you as a teacher express those positive things. Help students realize that yes, something may not be right, but there's a billion other things that are going great for them. Validate your students' feelings. These are real. Students are really experiencing a lot. Like I said, you didn't deal with the pandemic. They have. Their feelings, their mental health, their anxiety, their emotion that they're experiencing, let them know that you get it and that it's real and that you're here to support them. Again, with positivity. How to identify mental health issues. Now, keep your eyes and ears open. You see them, you're around them. You can be that person that can help them by always being around. All right? We want to notice different emotional changes. Has your student gone from being that happy-go-lucky little girl to all of a sudden she's kind of down and jumps a lot? She's no longer smiling. She's not saying hi to you in the morning like she used to. These are different ways that you can locate and notice that the student's dealing with different mental health issues. Next, social changes. When a student goes from being very social with a certain group to all of a sudden they're alone eating at lunch. Notice these things, bring these up. Again, this is why it's really important for you to have that bond with your students so you can speak to them, so they can come to you if something's wrong. Again, another social issue might be students going from one friend group to another. Are they changing? What's going on in their lives that's making them want to go from this new friend group, changing who they've been friends with for so long? Physical changes. Is your student gaining weight? Are they losing weight? Are you noticing something different about their physical traits? Now, of course, if you're dealing with middle school kids, puberty is inevitable. We're going to have to deal with that. But you can tell the difference between a sudden drastic change and something that's happening over time. Poor school performance. Again, back to the grades. When you're noticing these students' grades are dropping, they're changing, something's going on. Their test scores are not as well as they used to. This is again why it's important to have these bonds so you can speak to these students. But these are some of the health issues. These are some of the identifiers to figure out if your student is experiencing mental health issues. All right, so now we're going to go over a couple of different activities that you can work with your students. First, the mindfulness walks. I love these. Personally, my favorite. These are things I do with some of my IEP students and my 504 students who need that little space when they're going through certain things. I like to use this usually with one or two students, depending on who they are. Have them go for a walk outside, come back, maybe give them a piece of paper, have them take a blank piece of paper to my friend teacher or whoever's next door, just so they can get out the classroom. Take them away from the stress. Relieve them from stress, because sometimes just entering your classroom at that point, if they know that they're testing, that might add to it. It could be a whole class experiment. You can say, okay, instead of us reading at our seats today, we're going to go read outside in the grass. Or maybe instead of going over your, let's say, kindergarten with alphabets, instead of them sitting in the classroom, go over alphabet, we might be outside in the grass saying the alphabet as we walk around. Again, relieving stress by taking them out of this certain space, giving them a more safe and more easeful space. A gratitude journal. Again, with the positivity. We want to spread positivity. So these journals can be used to help students focus on the positives in their lives. It's a great way for students to look in themselves and find the best way to relax when they're going through stress. This could be a classroom assignment. This could be a homework assignment. This could be something that you could just suggest to a student that you're noticing that needs that extra help, that might be experiencing something at that time. We have our exploring our aromatherapy. So there are studies that show if you have the smell of lavender in your class, it helps students think, it helps them feel relaxed within the classroom environment. make it more open to wanting to learn. You can do it that way with certain smells, or you can have a scent tray. A scent tray will have different scents that help entice students. Whether it's peppermint, I know peppermint helps gets the mind going. It's kind of energizer, especially for your students who are kind of running low that day. Great way to help pick them up in the classroom. My favorite by far is the Infinite chocolate. Now the chocolate, it's a great way to think about different things going on, and it's a way to give thanks to the positive. Because then once you indulge chocolate, you have that sense, that taste, that relaxation that comes from tasting chocolate. Of course, some schools do not allow teachers to give chocolate, but this could be another, you could think of other things that your students might like. Maybe it might be a sticker, maybe a pencil, just something that adds to that positive I did. Now, what I'm going to provide each and every one of you, I'm going to send you guys all an email, or our different resources that we can use for your students to help their mental health. I know I personally use the Headspace as a great way to meditate. It provides the students with different resources when they're experiencing certain anxiety or other mental health issues within the moment. I also just suggest to you teachers, take care of yourself. Your students' mental health depends a lot on yours. If you're stressed, they're stressed. If you're not relaxed, they're not relaxed. If you can show them that you too deal with stuff and you have different ways, this can help them relieve some of their stress that they're going through. The goal. By creating a relaxing environment, students will be able to focus on their work. They have a lot going on. If you could create that area for them, the students will grow, they will continue to progress, they will learn to deal with different things they're dealing with. You will also open their minds to different techniques that students can use in the future. Those resources are great tools that students can use anywhere. Like I said, they have access to internet anywhere. So they can use these to deal with different test anxieties that they might have or other things that might be going on in the house. It will be great for the future when they're in college and they're going through stress and they don't have a teacher that's as educated and has the resources that you do. They can open other students' minds with it and help bring it towards other stressful environments that they might have in the workplace, for instance. Last but not least, overall, relaxed students create a relaxed classroom that makes life easier for you as teachers to teach. By creating these environments, by helping students deal with mental health issues, this will help your classroom setting run smoother. This will provide you with less stress and more education. All right, you guys do enough. Take care of yourself, take care of your students, and good luck. Thank you for listening to my presentation.